Hi there, I'm Andy and welcome to my channel. In today's video I want to talk about, in my opinion, the best crypto investing strategy. Let's be honest, everyone who comes, or almost everyone who comes to the crypto space is at least initially in it for the money, right? Some people may be interested in the technology, but vast majority just wants to make huge amounts of money in a relatively short period of time. Over time they may realize that actually there is a lot of potential in the technology itself and may discover other aspects of it. But that initial phase is usually all just about, well, how to make $1 million. So is it actually still possible to make $1 million with Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies? Well, let's have a look at it, and let's have a look at a strategy which I think gives you at least some chance to do it. Okay, so here's the problem with Bitcoin. Current price of Bitcoin is, well, give or take $30,000. The lowest point in this market cycle was around 15k, closer to 16, but let's call it 15. Now, if we look at previous market cycles, we can expect that the price of Bitcoin in the next bull run may go to something like, I don't know, 150k, maybe a little bit less, maybe a bit more, but it shouldn't be much more than that. So even if you manage to buy Bitcoin at 15k, to make math easy, and even if you manage to sell it at the very peak at 150k, well, that only means 10x return, right? Let's be extremely optimistic and say that Bitcoin will go up to 300k in the next bull run. Extremely unlikely, but let's say that this is the best possible case scenario. So even if you bought at 15k, well, that still gives you 20x return. So to make $1 million, well, you would have to invest at least 50,000 at that very bottom. So if you've done it, if you manage to get 50k worth of Bitcoin at the very bottom, and yeah, well, you can try to hold it and hope that it will hit 300k. But in vast majority of cases, that's probably not applicable. Even if you bought some, it probably wasn't quite this much. Bitcoin will probably not hit 300k. So essentially, there is no way within the next bull run you can make $1 million or anything close to that with Bitcoin alone. If you hold it for a much longer period of time, yeah, maybe, but you have to remember that those market cycles take about 4 years each time. So if the next bull run finishes around late 2025, early 2026, then the next bull run will probably finish around 2030. So you have to be prepared to hold for the next 7 or so years to see that really, really huge return. So what other options do you have? Well, altcoins, right? The problem with altcoins is that they are extremely risky, especially if you buy them now in a deep bear market. It's really hard to predict which projects will do well. And even if you target the right projects, well, you still don't quite know whether they hit their bottom or not quite yet. So your best option is to DCA into Bitcoin, right? Dollar cost averaging. So you just buy a little bit of Bitcoin over a longer period of time, averaging the purchase price. And then by buying Bitcoin rather than holding cash, you are essentially protecting yourself from any changes in the price of altcoins. Let me explain it. If you look at the price of an altcoin, let's say, I don't know, let's pick Veracity, for example. The price of Veracity fluctuates quite a lot in comparison to the dollar. But if you compare this price to Bitcoin, so you are buying Veracity with Bitcoin rather than with dollars, well, what's likely to happen is that while Veracity may start picking up against the dollar over the next few months, it will most likely not pick up against Bitcoin, because the way crypto market cycles work is that usually Bitcoin goes up first, then Ethereum, and then altcoins. Of course, there are some exceptions to this rule, but generally this is how it plays out. So if you already have a certain amount of money in Bitcoin, well, you don't have to worry about altcoins slowly picking up as well, because as altcoins go up in value, Bitcoin will most likely go up in value at least at the same pace, or very likely much faster in the initial stages of the bull run. That's why I think that buying Bitcoin now, when the prices are still pretty good and we should be out of the bear market. I mean, of course, if we zoom out and look at what's happening, yeah, it may be possible that we may have another crash, but the likelihood of it going below 15k is extremely low. I think that it's possible that we'll be bouncing between that sort of 25k range and 30k, 30-ish k for a while. The whole hype around Bitcoin ETFs died down a little bit. So as you can see, the price of Bitcoin's been, well, pretty much not doing much over the last week or so. But we had something similar here, right? The price was going up like crazy for a few days, then going sideways for, that was what, 17th of March until, well, almost a month actually, this period here. And then we had another nice move up, and then of course slow pullback, and then another move up, right? So it's quite reasonable to expect that it will be going sideways for a bit, and then we may get another leg up. There might be a bit of a pullback, but at the moment it looks like we are actually trending up. We were in the downtrend here. I'll just very roughly draw the line. But this move completely broke this downtrend, right? So if we now zoom out a bit, you could quite easily say that long term, we're looking at an uptrend, something like this. So you could speculate that even if there is a crash, the price shouldn't really dip below around 26, 27k. Of course, that's not guaranteed in any way, but that's a very reasonable scenario to expect, that we may have a pullback somewhere here, maybe a bit of a sideways movement and then another leg up, or we may just continue going up, sideways and up. Anyway, personally, I think this is not a bad time to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum. If you're planning to hold long term, these are good prices. I mean, even comparing to the previous market cycle peaks, we are still at a very, very good price point. And if you expect that the next market cycle peak will be much higher, well, of course, these are still great prices to buy. And holding on longer probably will not give you any great opportunities in terms of purchase prices. So yeah, I think good strategy right now is DCAing into Bitcoin or Bitcoin and Ethereum, and identifying which altcoins you may want to get into in the future. When it comes to choosing altcoins, there are of course pretty much endless opportunities. These are some of my favorite ones. And as always, do your own research. I look at those projects at the moment, and basically I'm trying to gauge whether they're doing enough now in the deep bear market to be successful once the bull market comes. Personally, I like those projects, but of course this may still change. We still have good few months of this sort of bear or bearish market before things will start moving up, most likely after or around the halving in April 2024. After that, we'll probably see continuous move up, but until then, things can be still quite choppy. But if you look at all those altcoins, they are still at extremely attractive prices. For example, if you look at Veracity, that's down 93, almost 94%. So if it goes up even to its previous all-time high, that's like approximately 15x gain. Vulcan Forge, that's down, I think, very similar, 93.5. Even ApeCoin, which is a huge token, right? It's a large cap token. It should perform better than microcaps, but even that is currently down 94%. If we then look at something like CDFI, it's a launchpad. It was doing extremely well in the previous bull market. I have really big hopes for CDFI. I think we will do extremely well again. And that's down also 95%. So if CDFI goes back up to its previous all-time high, that would put it up at almost 20x, right? Then we have something like Altura that's actually performing quite well. Down 29%, sorry, down 91%, and that's considered performing well. D-Race, micro cap coin, fully diluted market cap 18 million, and that's down 98%. I mean, if this goes back to the previous all-time high, that would be about 50x gain. That's just getting back to the previous all-time high, not setting a new all-time high. Network, similar thing, down 98%, very similar to D-Race. So as you can see, there are plenty of tokens here which can comfortably do 10 to 15x, and a lot of them can go up between sort of 20 to 50 times up. And that's only hitting the previous all-time highs. If they go just a little bit higher, I mean, that can quite easily push them towards 80x, 100x, and even more. And here's the thing. If you look at Bitcoin, let's say that you want to make $1 million. It's just a number, but it's a nice number. A lot of people are aiming for, so let's just go with that. Well, at the current price, 30K, to go up to make $1 million with Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin will go up probably about 5 times, I would imagine. I expect it to go to about 150K in the next bull run. Again, I may be off, but let's say it will go up 5 times in value. Well, you would need to put $200,000 into Bitcoin right now at the current price to get to $1 million, right? If you look at ETH, that's close to $2,000. That will probably do also about 5, maybe 7x, maybe 10x if you are lucky. Maybe it will go up to around 20K or so. But that still means putting 100K into ETH to make $1 million. But then when it comes to the micro caps, well, what you need to do is rather than trying to hit this one project that will go up like crazy, 100x, 200x or whatever, which may happen, but it's extremely unlikely, and it's even less likely that you will be able to hold your whole position throughout the whole move. You basically just compound your profits, right? So let's say you found one project. Let's say that you're starting with $5,000, roughly one paycheck. It's often recommended that you don't start investing or trading with more than one paycheck worth of money. So yeah, let's say you have $5,000. If you find a project that will do 10x, that gives you 50,000, right? Then if you, in theory, reinvest the whole thing and do another 5x, that gives you 250K. And then reinvest that, do another 4x, and that's 1 million. Really easy in theory, but as you can see looking at those numbers, you don't have to hit those massive opportunities when something goes 50x or 100x or something like that. You just do 10x, 5x, 4x or something like that. I mean, you could do it, of course, with many more steps. So you could break it down into 4 or 5 steps, and then suddenly actually those numbers are getting lower and lower. And of course you wouldn't go all in on one token. You would probably select, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, which you think have the highest potential, and then take your profit gradually. So you don't just wait for it to hit certain number. Well, once it starts going up parabolically, you start taking some of the profits out and find the next project that's not moving quite as fast yet. If you do all this preparation in the bear market, this will be relatively easy to pull off in the bull market. I say relatively because, of course, everything is moving at a crazy pace when it comes to crypto. But the thing is that if you only start thinking about it once the bull market comes, you will most definitely miss it. I mean, you may get incredibly lucky and still make it, but there's 99% of a chance that you will be just playing catch up all the time. You'll be always one step behind trying to get to the next big thing. But the whole trick is that you have to be prepared before the bull market starts. You have to identify those projects, at least this initial, those initial 3 to 5 projects you want to invest in. So once Bitcoin really starts moving, and you've been DCAing into Bitcoin now throughout the bear market, you can move that position into those altcoins. So you are not missing out on any initial altcoin move up because you are already in Bitcoin, which is moving up at the same or faster pace. So then you're taking position in those altcoins. The altcoins start picking up. And then, well, you just have to stay on top of things and just identify the next big thing that comes. And it should be relatively clear. I mean, okay, crypto space is crazy and there will be sometimes things happening which are completely random, but you should be able to identify certain themes either before the bull run or in the early stages of the bull run. My bet is that it's going to be still around crypto gaming. We still haven't had a proper big crypto game, successful game. So I think there will be a lot happening in that area. I think we'll see a lot around blockchain advertising. Not entirely sure how this will play out, but I think that's a big untapped area. And a lot around AR, VR, possibly something to do with AI as well. But the main thing is that there will be probably 1 or 2 projects which will be doing something really big and really successful in this space. But because of that, diligence being diligence will be just jumping into absolutely everything in that field. So let's say we have one big successful crypto game out. I don't know. It can be Yuga Labs' other side. It can be something completely different. If that suddenly starts really moving up, kind of like Axie Infinity did in a previous bull run, but now at a much bigger scale, you can bet that pretty much every gaming related project will start going up as well. So you just identify micro caps which have at least half decent potential, and you put a little bit of money in that, and that will probably skyrocket like crazy because everyone will be doing the same thing. So that's how I see the best possible strategy to make big money in the next crypto bull run. You cannot do it with Bitcoin alone. You cannot do it with Ethereum unless you're willing to hold for 7 or 10 years or something like that. If you want to make it in this next bull run, you have to start by DCA into Bitcoin and or Ethereum, and by identifying those microcap projects with potential. And then once things start moving, then you just have to be on top of things constantly, and just make sure that you keep riding the wave. Don't try to make it all in one big hit, but rather than that, just keep jumping to the next thing, pocketing your profits and moving on, and just keep staying on whatever is the most popular thing at the particular moment. So that's it from me for today. Of course, it's all much easier said than done. I'm sure it's going to be quite a messy bull run. It always is. There will be a lot of crazy stuff happening, but well, your best chance is essentially preparing as much as you can. If you're relatively new to crypto, you can check out my course, Crypto Like a Pro. You can find the link in the description. You can also check out my one-to-one consultations. You can find all the information on my website, or of course you can just look at my other materials, either on YouTube or my newsletter or Twitter, Instagram, and so on. There's plenty of free stuff out there, but if you need a hand, I'm here to help either with my courses or personal consultations. So as always, if you have any comments or questions, put them in the comment section, and thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.